But next to the microphone, 6'10", you know him. I love him. I don't know if you want to be introduced by his height, but I did. Put your hands together for our brother Rob Clay.
What's up?
He said, if y'all not gonna rap, I am. My very first question is Rob short for something?
It actually is.
Has anybody ever asked you that?
Every now and then, there's one person that calls me, it's Robert.
Oh, it's Robert. Not Robert.
Sean Johnson calls me Robert.
He calls you Robert?
Yeah.
Robert Clay?
He does. He adds more. He calls me Robert Clayton the third.
Oh, Robert Clayton.
But it's really Clay the third.
It's not Clayton.
It's not Clayton.
It's Robert Clay.
You know how Sean is.
He's a bit extra.
Very, not a bit.
He's a lot of extra. Robert Clay. How do you feel about Robert?
I love it. I mean,
why'd you shorten it?
It was an artistry thing. Over the years, just doing different types of music.
Yeah.
Big Rob. I've used Big Rob as a name.
Yeah.
I've used Rob Clay.
Yeah.
So it was just really for
RC.
RC3 actually.
Yeah.
And RC.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just a bunch of unnecessary things.
Trying to make it work, trying to make it stick, you know, all this stuff.
But matter of fact, I think Cam even, I tossed one out. I was like, man, I'm thinking about just going with Rob Clay. He was like, yeah, that's good, man, do Rob Clay. I was like, so Rob Clay was in agreement with me and Cam. So, yeah.
Who, do you know any other famous Roberts in the world?
Robert Palmer.
Who is that?
Isn't that the guy that does Simply Irresistible? Sings the song
Simply Irresistible.
Is that Robert Palmer?
I have no idea. I don't know that.
Robert Redford. He's an actor.
He's an actor?
Yeah.
What about Robert Ory?
Robert Ory, yeah.
Robert Ory.
Yeah, Robert Clay the third, actually.
What about Unmasking? What about that one?
Yeah. It's Robert.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
Well, I absolutely.
Robert Parrish.
Robert, come on.
Yeah, Robert.
Anybody know the Celtics? Anybody know the Parrish? Yes. Okay, that's good. That's another one. Is there another shortened version of Robert, like how there's like?
Yes, there is Rob. There's Bob. There are some people
I thought
called
Bob was
Robert.
like William.
No, that's Bill.
Bill.
Actually, yeah.
What's? He said actually, yeah. That's how people correct you, like actually, yeah.
Actually, yeah. But I've actually had people ask me, like, hey, my name is. So I'll say, hey, I'm Robert, and they're like, so is that like short for? I mean, is that like for Rob or Bob? Do you go by Rob or Bob? And I'm like, it's Robert.
Just Rob.
Or Rob.
Yeah. That's good. Man, you are a man of many talents. You have profits, you have for-profit businesses. You've been a musical person for a really long time. But I remember you and I talked a couple of years ago, and you really wanted to distinguish yourself from the previous identity. Of only being a singer, of only being a performer, of only being a worship leader. Talk to us a little bit about how you came into music, and then what has it been like establishing yourself as an individual outside of the music industry?
Great question. So I've been singing since I was 5 years old.
You're really good at it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that coming from you, definitely. But just since I was 5, and when I turned about, I would say 13-ish, 12, 13, I directed my first choir, actually.
13?
At 13 years old. And it was, I was nervous because probably about 90% of the people there were old enough to be my parents. So it's like, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can because you don't know how to teach music. So,
and I do.
So, yeah, but that's what I've done. 30 years as a worship leader, as a worship pastor, doing albums, praise and worship albums and stuff. A lot of times when you're appearing to be dominant more in the public, in an area, that becomes your box that people will put you in. but what people think.
Yeah, and you didn't put yourself in the box.
Did not.
People
Did, yeah. And so it's like, that's what you do, that's who you are, that's what you should be doing.
Right.
And so my call became what people called me, what people called me to versus what maybe the Lord called me to. And so although I knew I was supposed to be singing, there were other things that people didn't know, like I was a public speaker.
Right.
I preached.
Right.
All of that. And so, you know, it was a matter of time and years, I would say, before people really caught on to that part of me. And then it was like, oh, so you speak too. Like, I've been speaking since I was about 12.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so when you think about like stepping into the confidence of not a platform that people have put you on, but something that you stepped into, I know that I've seen you operate in confidence. People will say they've seen you operate in confidence in music, but I've seen you stand in confidence in a lot of different areas. Not only as a singer and a performer, but also a producer, as someone who plays, as someone who writes, as someone that is an author, as someone that is a husband and a partner, that you promote your wife and you all do projects together. I'm saying you, my friend, are multi-talented. And so talk to us a little bit about the frustration of maybe only being isolated to a performer or a musician.
It can be very frustrating because sometimes what happens with that is the audiences you're trying to reach, they may not be receptive because they see you in that one lane. It's like, that's not what we're looking for. Well, I actually bring the things you're looking for. Pick it.
Pick one. Pick one. Yeah.
You know, if you want men to be empowered,
absolutely.
If you want couples to be empowered, you know, if you want singing, if you want rapping, if you whatever, you want preaching, if you want the intellectual speaking, if you want the hooping, like I can give
Come on, hoop?
Yeah, I can
He said tune me up.
Yeah, so
I heard you hoop before. You're a pretty good hooper.
Thank you.
You get down, bro.
I've only done it a few times.
And not only a few, you've done it quite a bit. I was telling, before we recorded today, I was telling some people in the back, I used to skip church to come here, Rob. I used to leave my church and I, give him the old Baptist finger, just kind of mosey on down the back. And I pull up to his church and then Rob, as soon as I got there, they'd be going in and they'd go for a solid 30, 45 minutes on a good Sunday, an hour. And then right before they took up offering, I ease out the door. I can't really listen. I didn't come here again. That's not what I'm ready. That's not what I'm ready. But I think that for people that have known you for a really long time, they know that you're multi-talented. But for people that are just now getting introduced to who you are, it's a very singular focus. And so I know that before I knew of the multiple talents that you had, I was introduced to you through We Tell Stories, Poetry Night. Tell us how you got involved and connected with We Tell Stories.
Man, We Tell Stories is incredible, which, by the way, know this. Me being here on this We Tell Stories podcast is incredible. For those that are tuned in, know that seeing me, Robert Clay III, on We Tell Stories podcast being interviewed by Derek Sire, my honorarium has gone up. So, just so you know. But We Tell Stories, man, I'm a Java Dave alum.
You are, in fact.
And just, being there and being in that atmosphere was incredible. Just all of the artists and the people. Even my wife and I connected through We Tell Stories.
Come on, that's another one. Heady putting couples together.
And I'll tell you this, couples have their stories.
Absolutely.
It's her story and then it's the truth. And so she's not here with me, but
she'll practice online.
I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna get a session.
Oh, really?
But not just, we met each other through music entities and just opening for different artists and stuff, and then having mutual friends and stuff as well. And so what ended up happening, coming to We Tell Stories, she would show up with her friends and stuff, and I didn't really pay attention at first. And I'm like, okay, who's that? And we were in a couple of plays together. And then Heady hit me up and was like, hey, I want you to do the music for We Tell Stories.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to do one of the gospel ones. I want you to do Valentine's Day.
I remember that.
That was my first one.
Really?
And I had cats like Cam. I had recording artists backing me up and a whole band. So I was like, and so
I remember that.
Brittany came to that, and I was like, oh, this is the night.
He said, "This is the one."
This is the night. Like, for real.
He was like, "Whoa, the Lord."
Yeah, it was like, I pulled out Luther.
Yes.
And so, I looked over a few times, I was like, yeah, it's locked. So, it was
She loved me.
and she just told people, like, she heard me on the radio that day, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, this dude is legit, for real.
Yeah.
So, but that night is when I first asked her out. So, after the show, We Tell Stories.
Heady in the couple making business.
Yeah, we're going on 16 years of marriage.
Hey, listen. I love that. 13. So when you think about like being in Oklahoma City for all of this time, you're a really good work. I cannot overemphasize that you are not an Oklahoma City native.
No, not at all. So I've been a couple of places.
Why do you say it like that?
Because here's the thing. Well, before you say that, because I think that oftentimes when people see how often or how rooted people are in Oklahoma City, they just assume that they were like born and raised, went to high school here. Yeah. But as integrated as you are into our community, you're not from here.
No, so it's home now, and I tell people that Oklahoma is definitely not my home. I've been here 20 years, so it's home. But I was born in Chicago, raised in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I went to Florida for a couple of years before coming here. And raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. And came to Oklahoma on a music tour, actually. Okay. Promoter saw me in Jacksonville, Florida, and he was like, hey, I have this tour in Oklahoma and Texas. It's like a 12-city tour. Wow. Didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
And I just had a piece about it and was like, okay, cool. And came out here, we were hubbing out of Oklahoma City and stayed.
Yeah. I can't help but when I hear North Carolina, I want to take my shirt off.
Yes.
And wave it above my
like
head. It's just.
Leave that alone.
It's just. I just feel it in my spirit. Like when I hear North Carolina, I want to take my shirt off and wave it above my head.
Right there.
Like, no, I'm the only one. Like a mom, like a helicopter. Yeah. Well, I want to say on behalf of someone who is not from Oklahoma City, we welcome you. And we give you the keys to the city, brother. Yeah, there you go. So we talk about you being an entrepreneur, author, speaker, motivator. You have a Facebook group, an active group that encourages men and fathers. You have a marriage ministry. You talk about mental health. You just hosted a golf tournament. Man, you are super active in our city. But at the very base of it, you're a father.
Yes. Oh, man. That part is special for me.
I know it is.
My wife, we're a blended family, and she is incredible. We have 4 boys and 1 daughter. Yeah. I brought 3 sons in, she brought the daughter in, and then we have 1 together. Yeah. And we're all just one big family. I love my kids. There was a season when the older boys was out of state and we didn't have a connection or relationship. Yeah. And then that changed. And they moved to Oklahoma with me, and there's been a couple of write-ups about it and stuff. And just seeing their growth and how things have changed for them, it just allowed me to give, in some ways, things that I desired as a kid, as a teen as well. And then also give on their level the things they needed from their father. And even still now to this day to be able, even as grown men, just watch them grow and be able to pour into them and them allow me to and just love me the way they do. So it's incredible, man.
Yeah, I knew you before your sons were here, and then I know you after your sons were here. And I remember the transition of you getting your sons full time, like here with you, and to see you light up, having those boys here with you was absolutely amazing. Your youngest boy's name is
Warren.
Is Warren more famous than you?
He is. Warren is definitely more famous.
Tell the room how Warren became more famous than you.
If I could pin real quick,
Okay,
I have to acknowledge my daughter, Taja. I gained her through the marriage, so I've been her dad since she's been like 4 years old, and that's been incredible. I never wanted a daughter, but she changed that for me, and it was something special.
That's sweet.
So I just want to give a shout out to Taja. But Warren, that those that may not know, with Colin, one of my sons that plays football for Oklahoma State, that tied us into the university there, and so Warren became famous by being out on the football field as Pistol Pete partner at a homecoming 2 years ago. He just turned 6, so he was 4 years old. Typically, when the kids go out as Pistol Pete partner and the mic is given to them, they just say "Go Pokes." That's all they say. When we told Warren that he was going to be Pistol Pete partner, he was like, "Well, can I say OSU Cowboys?" And we was like, "Well, for the history of the school for years, the kid just says "Go Pokes." He's like, "Well, I want to say OSU Cowboys." That's 4.
Right.
And so we asked. They said yes, it would be fine. And Les actually is the mid-first mic guy there, and he said that he's always told every kid, "Hey, just project your voice, say it loud." Because, kids can get nervous at that age. Thousands of people. He put that mic in front of my 4-year-old son, and from the heavens, this dude just belts.
No. He said,
And I mean, all of the news stations, sports stations, everyone pulled that story. And since then, he's been getting booked for appearances. His name, image, and likeness has been trademarked.
Absolutely.
He has shirt endorsements with Oklahoma State. It's incredible. And so, we're working on his first children's book right now as well.
Amazing.
So it's awesome.
Man.
So he's very much more. So I'll tell you this: when we go places, people call me and Britt Warren's dad, Warren's mom. I'm Warren's dad.
It's not Robert. It's not Rob. It's not Brittany. It's
Warren's
like,
dad.
hey, Warren's dad.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Man, I remember when I first came into the faith. I remember I was starting dating my wife, and before we got married, she was like, "This is what I'm living. This is what I want to do." And I was like, "Okay, let me try this whole Jesus thing." And I remember one of the first albums that I got was one of your albums.
Wow.
And I remember the song that speaks to me. That was like, "Winds from the east, come on, winds from the west.
Breathe on me.
Come on, winds from the north, winds from the."
Wow.
That's how long ago it was. I remember playing that song over and over. Right, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violence is taken by. Like I remember, like
that was the Uncut Truth album.
And that was way back then.
Yeah.
Out of all the
What does it really sound like, Rob, when you say?
Say that.
He said, "What does it really sound like?" Because I didn't do it justice.
So I was trying to like be like I tried to give my rendition of the voice of God, and it was just my voice. It was just like come from the 4 winds, come from the 4 winds, oh breath, and breathe the breath of life. That's
awesome.
I was really into it. Like when I was in the studio, like I turned the lights out in the sound booth. And my eyes closed. Who closed their eyes and have the lights on?
He had his curtain hanging on.
That was the voice of God. Like I never know who's gonna do it. Like work for Morgan, work for.
That's absolutely.
James
in the same voice. So I say all that to say, man, like when you think of all the things that you've done outside of being a father and husband, what's one of the coolest things that you've done? Like when people look back on the life of Rob Clay, like what's something that you feel like I've done that was really, really cool? Like a song or a piece or an event? Like what's something that you feel like hands down stands head and shoulders above the rest?
I think surviving a portion of my life without knowing how to be an effective husband or father. I survived that season of my life. And so now that's like, I desire it so much to where I've surrounded myself with incredible husbands, incredible fathers, and it allowed me to see things, because there was a season of my life where I held my dad responsible for things that I felt like I should have known, but he didn't.
Yeah, ooh, that's good.
So I had to release him because there were things he didn't have and he didn't know. So he did what he was taught, what he knew. And so I think that part for me, being able to travel with my wife, like that's my best friend. We do music together, we kick it, we travel. So, and I won't say that. It's okay. I love my wife, man.
That means you're about to say something that made us feel like you don't love your wife?
No, I was thinking about, there was a video that went viral with Dietrich Haddon that some people that really didn't care for.
Yeah, his wife was working on him. I saw it. I watched it multiple times.
Twerk on.
I was like, hey.
And if you know my wife, she's going to bless me.
Come on.
Amen. Say what you like. Yeah. Don't invite me back to your church. That's my wife. I love her.
Yeah.
And so, just being able to do life with her and to allow her to be able to pour into me, and be able to pour into her, that is a part of my life. If I had to give everything else up, being a husband and a dad is the two things I would keep.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, ready for the rapid fire?
Let's get it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
If you had to live Oklahoma City or anywhere else in the world, which one are you choosing?
To live?
To live Oklahoma City or anywhere else in the world?
I would choose right now Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. You flattered us. Thank you. Appreciate it. How do you really feel about Guthrie, Oklahoma?
I come to Guthrie, Oklahoma
for one reason.
to see Heady.
That's it.
And that's it. And then I'm leaving like right out.
There's no other reason.
I'm gonna ask him to follow me to the highway.
There's no other reason to come to Guthrie.
There's no other reason to come but to
That's
see
it.
my
And
friend.
he's here.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely worth it. He's absolutely
Yeah. He's worth the drive.
Yeah. Manicure or pedicure?
Manicure. Don't look at my hands.
Don't look at you.
No.
Or your feet?
No.
No, don't look at it. If you never had to sing again, if you never could sing and you lost your voice, what would you do instead?
Write for other people.
Write for other people.
To sing, yeah.
That's good. Do you pour cereal first or milk first?
Cereal.
Cereal first. How do you feel about people who pour milk first?
No thoughts really.
No thoughts. I judge them very fiercely.
Yeah. Are you gonna just lick it and not put cereal in it? Or
I don't know why people put milk in the bowl before they put cereal.
Yeah, you're not making put cereal first. So and then the milk, because you're gonna have more cereal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're losing cereal space by putting milk.
By putting milk in first. Flour or corn tortilla?
Flour.
Flour all day. No corn tortilla. What's your favorite street taco?
Ooh. I was gonna say carne asada, but I just had one at Velvet Taco last week.
Oh, he just called the Holy Ghost. He said,
They already cut off. I had a taco there. Me and my wife went there. And I had this taco called Korean fried rice.
Korean fried rice. Is that the same taco you had?
It's called Korean fried rice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good too. I had them all probably at this point.
You had all of them?
The plain steak is like they do it kind of medium rare-ish.
Okay.
But the Korean fried rice, they literally put like vegetable fried rice, Korean pork, jalapenos, and a few other things in
In a
it.
taco.
Incredible.
In a taco.
In a taco.
Sounds amazing. I went to chicken foot because of you.
So I apologize for that.
Who goes to the chicken foot?
So yeah, I don't go anymore. Warren loves it. You know, the first few times I enjoyed it, but
It fell off.
it fell off.
The sides are trash.
Can
we talk about
cinnamon roll is good.
businesses and organizations? The cinnamon roll is good.
It changed a little too, but that's
You don't have to publish this part, Eddie. You can edit it.
It's already out there.
It's already out there. It is live.
My son loves it. Warren Cowboy loves
He
it.
loves it? He loves it. What do you love about singing the national anthem?
So, just the places I get to do it at. I'll say, and honestly, that's the only time I do it. So, being able to do it at like Oklahoma City Thunder,
Absolutely.
2-3 times a season. When Monster Jam comes to town, they have me do it at Monster Jam every year. So when I see like Super Bowls, NBA Finals, Super Bowls, I'm like, you need to see my recording here at the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the one year that the Thunder was about to go and win, I'm gonna talk about that on the podcast. I was blessed to sing at that game. That Shaq and all of them were there. And when we went to the finals the year we went, the entertainment directors here could not. They tried to recommend me, but once the finals come, the NBA decides who does the anthem and not the organizations who are actually playing. Otherwise, I would have done that.
I got two national anthems. I got two anthem questions. What did you think about Fergie's?
It was one of the best laughs.
Oh,
I enjoyed it. I watched it about 8 times.
8 times.
I enjoyed it.
They
but I
remix it.
understood what she was doing. Musically, I understood what she was trying to do.
Well, can you explain to the rest of the room?
So sometimes people are different.
Fergie's different.
And so it's like, let me put a little twist on it and make it my own. Well, the only person that put a twist on it and made it, Marvin Gaye, had the best, like, different type of anthem written. And then Whitney Houston, of course, were my 2 favorites personally.
Those are legends.
Until, was it last year that Chris Stapleton?
Yeah.
Somebody singing at a baseball game. It was a lady.
Roseanne.
No, it wasn't Roseanne. It was somebody else singing at a baseball game. She did really well.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was. Last question. When we think about you being in Oklahoma City, what's next for Rock Club?
For me, just continuing to build my organization, Rotella Foundation, and just going after the purposes of that. My wife and I are working on a new project as well. And so.
Is that a musical project?
It is a musical project, and
is it sexy?
It's very, very sexy.
Very sexy.
Very.
I got chipmunks when you say
it. Is.
Part of it is just the bass in your voice.
It's incredible.
Wait, did y'all see how he said very?
Because I started reading some of the recordings in my head, some of the recording sessions we've already had before this new project, and it's that. It is that. Yeah, it's incredible. But just really looking forward to continuing to just grow and connect with more people. I've stepped outside of my norm, and I really am intentional about connecting with people who don't look like me, who don't talk like me, who don't believe how I believe. And that's not the popular thing. But me being a believer of the Lord and in Jesus, he said, this is how they'll know you're my disciples, by the love you show. And so my thing is to show love to as many people as I possibly can. I'm giving you God by giving you love, and I don't ever have to quote a scripture.
Yeah, that's good. Well, man, we see you, we love you, we appreciate the work that you're doing, not only in your family and in your marriage, but in Oklahoma City. Not that you need it, but we validate your efforts, man, and you're doing really good work, and we appreciate you and we love you, brother. Yo, put your hands together for Rob.